Alright, so I recently finished up Yoshi's Woolly World on 3DS, and here's some pre-recorded footage of one of the bonus levels from this version of the game, and I do a regular level too later, but I had been looking forward to this one for a while, because Kirby's Epic Yarn, same developer, similar tone, was honestly one of my favorite 2D platformers, right beside Mario Land 2. Admittedly, I did definitely like Kirby Epic Yarn better, although some of that, I'll sort of dive into why and why some of it might be self-inflicted. This was still very good. I mean, I'm not super crazy into 2D platformers, especially compared to 3D, but I would still put this in a higher tier, alongside some other games that I thought were pretty good, but not quite to the level of the two I mentioned before, like the original Super Mario Bros. Or Kirby Dream Land 3. Overall, though, this definitely has the charm that I really enjoyed with Kirby's Epic Yarn, just the creativity of the worlds and abilities, and it's fun to see play out throughout the whole game. I feel like most levels have their own unique gimmick almost to it, too. Yeah, because I'm going to get that last balloon soon. I forgot it took me more than 2 tries, but at least from when I started recording, I had already done this a few times before, but sorry for the mild repetition, but some of the gimmicks work better than others. One of the best gimmicks, and it was the case for the Kirby game too, was the different, big transformation sections that you have. One thing I was kind of surprised, I don't remember, I haven't played Kirby Epic Yarn in a while, so I don't remember if this was the case there too. I prefer it to not be the case, though, is that some of the late game transformations aren't a requirement, and I just sort of, I don't know, I think it's a shame to miss out on those sections if you just, I don't know, walked right past them or just in a hurry for whatever reason. Probably the big thing, though, and the reason I sort of alluded to earlier with why I feel like I liked Kirby Epic Yarn better, is partially because I decided to almost 100% the game. I didn't do the beads that get you points towards some of the customizable skins, which in the Wii U version, I believe it was used for Miiverse stamps. That or the challenge they had to finish the levels with full health. But I did get, it was kind of funny because Mario Wonder is kind of the latest 2D Mario game right now. And you have Wonder Wool and the Smiley Flowers to collect. So I kept almost mixing them up, calling them Wonder Flowers in my head. But I did get all of them. Mainly because I just felt like if there was a 2D platform I could give, 100% another shot with, it would be this one. And it started out pretty well. Especially the first few Wonder Wools were pretty easy to get. And plus I liked seeing the different skins they came up with. And the flowers get you bonus levels too. But I don't know. Then you get to points where you have like scrolling levels or maze levels that I don't find really fun, that aren't, a fun repeat if you have to. It eventually got to the point where it was like if I noticed it was that kind of level, I would just go and pull up a guide and I would look at the timestamps on, the YouTube video. And then I would check when I reached, a big cliff or a door, a point of no return. Or if I noticed that, after I got a collectible, that something in that category was missing. Or the place, I would watch a couple seconds of that next item. And if that place, looked familiar, I would go back and take care of that. It did also help, especially with my confidence in even doing the 100% thing, that I had access to save states. I probably wouldn't have, some of the challenge levels get pretty tough. I probably wouldn't have been able to do them in a timely manner without that. And I probably would have given up on, the flowers and maybe some of the costumes. But yeah, I also in general wanted access to a screen bigger than the 3DS. Mine's a little like scratched up too, so it was nice to, back up my copy and have some quality of life improvements. But another point I felt like too is that I don't know why there was some like mid-game blues. I just remember Kirby being great from start to finish, but here, World 4 and 5 just sort of was a lot more hit or miss. Like maybe there'd be one or two gimmicks in the first three worlds that didn't quite hit for me, but I feel like, at those two worlds it was half or more. And then I kind of thought, well, maybe, I'm going for 100% now. They're getting a little trickier with some of the collectibles. Maybe that's it. But then I felt like World 6 was better. Like more what I was used to. So I don't know. And like the whole thing kind of reminds me of when I went through Crash 4 of all games, just because I went for, a lot of, the collectibles, as close to 100% as I can get there too. And I don't know, sometimes I just felt like there was something. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not the smartest or best, sometimes I'm stupid and don't really think to look a certain place, but I felt like there was other instances too where I was like, okay, how the fuck was I supposed to know that was there? I feel like, some of the foldable walls or the walls you can just sort of walk through can get a little frustrating, I guess is the best way to put it. But besides that, there was a boss rush, or it wasn't a boss rush, it was kind of a similar principle though, where you try to clear the bosses again, but now they're all quicker, and as a result, a bit more difficult. And I actually really enjoyed, especially some of the early bosses again. I felt like, especially doing them a couple times, trying to get the collectibles, that having that extra speed and challenge was really fun. And some of the ones later on got a little more tougher, especially Miss Cluck, the chicken boss. That was the one challenge where the new speed, I just had a hard time keeping up. But in general, I feel like I enjoyed that challenge better than, just a typical do all the bosses with connected health. I guess this wasn't a super rare or new thing either, but I just feel like you see the one, a bit more often. One thing I kind of didn't like with the bosses, though, is how they repeated the Monty Mole and Koopa, like, mid-castle boss. I think there was 3 different fights with them, and, like, I don't know. They're all, mildly unique, but I just would have appreciated if they, came up with something else, I guess, rather than a repeat. A, complete repeat, because like I said, they do give them different abilities, and, I mean, maybe some people might like that, because you just start to get used to their new capabilities mixed with their old ones. I could see an appeal for it, but that's just not something I find personally appealing, I guess. I guess the one thing I will say, too, like I said, I did use the save states, but there is a casual mode, and you probably saw when I was looking to start this level that you can select badges, which are also sort of extra abilities that help make the game a little easier. I did use the badges a few times, but I didn't try casual mode, but that's a nice option. Maybe it would have helped for 100% if I didn't have save states, or, if you're just really not good at platformers, or if you're like a young kid or whatever. That's a nice option to have. The Poochie level that you saw earlier, they're all sort of infinite runner levels, and they were decently fun. Nothing too crazy, but a nice little bonus to see, and sort of motivate people that may have already had the Wii U one to double dip. Oh, another thing I didn't complete either was there was like these theater quiz things. You can only unlock one a day. I think it took like 10 sessions to clear, and I think there's like a month's worth, so I missed like 20 of them, but they're pretty cute. I forget, is it stop motion? It's kind of like a claymation thing, but I know this isn't clay, so. But they're, just little animation-ish things. And they'll give you like a quiz question with them at the end. And, they're enjoyable for what they are. Nice little bonus. Something that I felt would have been a little frustrating too if I decided to go more the complete 100% route is you have like a gallery section where they show all the enemies you've encountered, all the music you've got. I did look up what I was missing. The one thing that was frustrating is that I think you have to defeat the enemy for them to show up in your enemy log. Oh, I'm going to do the gold challenge, I think, here for this. But yeah, there were some, like there was one mission where you're mainly jumping on other enemies, like bone birds, I forget what they were called. And, you know, I would have thought that would have been classified as defeating them, but apparently it wasn't because they weren't showing up. And there were some, like, hidden 2D sprites, which, yeah, that's kind of fair that they wouldn't appear if you didn't get all of them, but I was missing one song, I think, too, and I forget why or what, but overall, I'll admit I do kind of regret going for 100%. I wonder if I would have enjoyed it more with just sort of the more laid-back approach, which is the same approach I actually took with the other two games that I labeled as my favorites in the genre. So this is definitely something I would be down if they ever re-released it to do it again, just with that different approach and see if it hits different. But yeah, I think this is the first time I 100%ed a game in this genre since Kirby Epic Yarn, like when it first came out. Maybe New Super Mario Bros. I was just short of enough footage, but I don't know because I had an action replay and it wouldn't surprise me if I used it to 100% New Super Mario Bros. Just like an automated thing. But at the same time, I don't get the point of it. I don't know if there's extra levels you got for collecting all the gold coins, so I really just don't remember if I legitimately did that or not. I also will say, I do see some people throw around Poochie for Smash. Honestly, I don't get it. He just kind of, runs around. I mean, he's a cute, likable character, but I just can't really see a good moveset there. But who knows what they can come up with there. But yeah, I guess that's about it for everything here.